All right, we are driving to Tucson to pick up some parts that were mailed to me there. So I've got some through holes, I've got some hosing, I can't remember what else, but a whole bunch of things I need for projects, and even better yet, all of my tools are in storage in Tucson. So I got this nice rental car. I'm going to fill it up with all my tools, everything I need to work on the boat, and I think we're going to be making some progress now. So far the drive has been really easy. I always expected driving in Mexico would be like what I'm used to in Dominican Republic. But so far it's been actually incredible. Look at this. We have a high-speed two-lane highway. We're going 120 kilometers an hour. It's like 70 miles an hour for the Americans. And yeah, it's safe, it's well paved, and well signed. So I'm happy. We are now in Tucson, where I have all of my stuff in storage. So I'm really happy to be able to finally have access to all of my tools and all of my things. While I was here, I took advantage and did a shopping trip. So let me show you what I bought. Water, need that in the desert. This is just general tools and paints and whatnot. Nothing interesting there. This wind sucks. Beer, more tools. So there's a really cool store here in Tucson that sells used tools for really cheap prices. So I was able to get a whole bunch of tools that otherwise would have been pretty expensive for quite cheap. For example, let's take a look. I got these tool organizer bags, which brand new would probably be over $100. I can't pay that. That was $30. That was $15. And that was also $30. So these semi-rigid tool bags are amazing just for organizing all of your stuff. What else do we got? Torque wrench, that's for my Keel bolts. Socket set, I only needed one, but it was really hard to find 1.5-inch sockets, so I just bought the whole kit. It wasn't that expensive, so I figured just get the whole thing. I mean, it's my only option really. Aluminum stock. I'm going to use this at the masthead to install my new Raymarine wind sensor, just because I don't have space on the masthead to mount that just yet. So this will help, I think. Anyways, it's useful to have. I can use it as backing plates, all kinds of stuff. And this was an online order. We've got some hoses for the toilet and for the sink. And what else do we have? New VHF cable. Whole bunch of through holes and seacocks, and in this bucket, this was from the this was all from Harbor Freight. I spent $400 at Harbor Freight. That was expensive. That didn't come from Harbor Freight, but yeah, a whole bunch of extenders and similar items like this to get my Keel bolts off, and then some PB blaster, what else? Tap and die kit. Yeah, these things are all very useful in the long run. I got a whole bunch of titanium reinforced drill bits because I'm going to be drilling out a lot of stainless steel, and I'm sure I'm going to go through a lot of these. Yeah, random tools that I felt I was short on. So it's been expensive. I have a lot of respect for the sailors out there who do this on a shoestring budget, because you can spend so much money so quickly. I spent $400 at Harbor Freight. I spent $200 at the used tool shop. I spent $200 at Ace Hardware. And then, you know, this Raymarine wind sensor and the other marine specific things that I ordered, that was like a $2,000 order. So I'm almost $3,000 in for this one Tucson trip, which is pretty pricey. I didn't expect to spend that, and that's just how boating seems to go. So let me show you my storage unit. There we go. All right. Packed pretty tight. I cannot possibly bring all of this with me today. So what I'm gonna do is dig through here and pull out mainly tools, because the tools are what are holding me back from doing the jobs I need to do. So I need to get in there and find all of my tools. And this is gonna take some time. So let's get on it. I got lucky today that, you know, in Tucson usually it's really hot and really sunny. There's a big thunderstorm coming, so I timed it just right by chance to not have any sun, but no rain. Here we have the storage. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a lot less in there than there was before. I packed most things. Most of the stuff I'm bringing is my used tools, so I packed those over here. So, you know, if customs is looking through this for stuff to tax, it's mostly going to be used stuff that comes up. The newer stuff, I made an effort to take out of the original packaging and just like fold it into my existing toolbox, so it's not so obvious. And then in here it's like kitchen stuff. That's all used tools and, yeah, you know, open epoxy, stuff like that. My clothes. Evidently the tax rate in Mexico is 25%. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but it's expensive. So the more I can save on that, the better, especially because I'm not selling it there. I'm not trying to do tax evasion. It just is gonna go on my boat and leave the country in like 6 months. So I don't want to pay that tax if I can avoid it. That said, I don't think they'll believe me if I just say, hey, I didn't buy anything in the US. So I'm gonna keep some of my receipts and present those at the border and hopefully evade taxes on the more expensive things. We'll see how that goes. All right. So we are back at Manakau. Manakau, I don't know how to pronounce it. After, yeah, the driving trip was successful, calm, smooth. I got over the border without any issues. That was nice. I'd never done that before, driving across the Mexican border. Yeah, for the most part, they don't even check your passport. You just drive through. I did get pulled aside, and they did kind of dig through my stuff to see what kind of tax was due. I kept some receipts handy, not for the full value of everything, but for like $400 worth of stuff. And they were happy with that. They said, look, next time, pull over ahead of time and just go pay your taxes, but we'll let it slide this time. So I managed to slip through with all my new through holes and hosing and a wind sensor. So that would have been pretty expensive if I had to pay the 16% tax. I've learned that's what it is. It's 16%. So I'm happy I didn't have to pay that. Everything went smoothly, and now I have all my tools, so we can finally do some work. I'm excited. It seems somewhat miraculous to me that all of this fit my tiny little rental car. I have so many different tools that I find so useful, so I'll show you what I have here. This is all electrical, so lots of wire. I've got crimping tools, all kinds of little electronics accessories. So that all lives in there. Let's see, that's clothing and kitchen stuff, kind of boring. My new wind meter, torque wrench for those Keel bolts. Here we have power tools like saws and sander, angle grinder, all that lives there. Here we have a whole bunch of nuts and bolts, all stainless steel, sorted. Happy with that. This is all the new stuff. So this is all yeah, pretty heavy duty
extensions for the torque wrench, and we've got like nuts and things like that, like really big ones. And here there's a 1.5 inch deep socket that I can get around those Keel bolts, which are really huge. So that's exciting. That's just a tool bag. In here, I've got kind of, I guess I call them like process materials. We've got epoxy, gloves, a bunch of different little sealants like Sikaflex, and yeah, just kind of raw materials, I guess. Butyl tape, that's handy. What else? Label maker. This is just paintbrushes and stuff I picked up now. A grease gun. These are most of my big tools. So that's like a big crimper for crimping battery terminals. Yeah. What's in here? This is all new stuff. This is my new VHF cable. And here we have all of our through holes and seacocks. Those were pretty expensive. Glad I didn't have to pay an additional 16% on top of the Arizona state tax. We have here a rotary tool. I don't use that very often. Hole saws, making holes in things. This is all pretty boring. Socket set. More power tools. We've got like the drills. This flashlight is actually pretty useful. Impact driver, all very useful. And what's in here? Another tool bag. Oh yeah, more stuff that I just bought. More paintbrushes. Titanium drill bits for drilling through steel. Lubrication for drilling through steel. And here, oh yeah, just more kind of raw materials. I don't really have a use for that, but it came off my old boat. Snips, really big ones. Bolt cutters, I think that's what we would call those. Yeah, lots of stuff. There it is. I'm currently working on the Keel bolts. So let me show you what we've done so far. So when the mast came out, there's a metal plate here that I was able to lift up and get access to these Keel bolts. This bilge was really, really dirty when I first opened it up. So the first thing I did was do a whole bunch of scrubbing and get it as clean as I could. Now what I've done is, for each of these bolts, I have scraped the threads to kind of clean up the threads here, and I lubricated all of them. So all these are cleaned and lubed. Now what I intend to do is take these out one at a time. So take that nut out and the washer, clean it, inspect it, reinstall, and then do that one at a time for each. That way, when it's time to take these bolts out for good, when I drop the keel, then I know that my threads are all clean and they're ready to go. So that's my plan right now. Now let me show you how I actually get these out. So this is a 1.5 inch socket, deep well socket. I had to use an adapter to go from a 3/4 inch drive to 1/2 inch drive. So that fits perfectly on the nut. Then I have this extension bar. There we go, that slots in. Then I can attach my torque wrench up here. So here's my torque wrench. So let's try to get this thing loose. Here we go. how it's done. Do my best for you to hear me, because I know the wind makes this pretty hard. The keel is made of lead, that's made of fiberglass. You can see kind of here more or less the seam where it connects. And here it's in bad shape. So I'm going to grind this all down so we can see that seam. That's the plan. So let's go.
Wake up in the morning, come rise with the flame. No request, no blue, fire we name. Easy, my darling, what shall we do? Rockin' and skanking, no request, no blue. A church was built where we played on the greens. A wall puts up in a garden of love. Soldiers and black hounds walking their rounds. Tombstones where flowers should be. Ooh. What shall we do? Easy, my darling, what shall we do? Rockin' and skankin', no request, no blue. Wake up in the morning, come rise with